Kia ora, good evening. It was an eventful Sunday on the region's roads with a pedestrian struck by a vehicle in the Woodlands area and a collision between a milk tanker and a bus north of Mataura. In the first incident, emergency services responded at 6:15 Sunday morning after a single male pedestrian was hit by a single motor vehicle south of Woodlands. It's understood the pedestrian walked into the middle of State Highway 1 prior to being hit by the vehicle. The male was taken to Southland Hospital where he received treatment for minor injuries. Medical staff, he says he was extremely lucky to have survived the incident. Then at 7:10 yesterday evening, a milk tanker and a passenger bus collided on the same highway just north of Mataura. Indications are there were two separate incidents, with the southbound tanker initially rolling and coming to a stop before being struck by the northbound bus. As a result of the crash, both tanks on the milk tanker ruptured, resulting in milk spilling into the watercourse. 8 occupants from the vehicles were transported to hospital for treatment, 2 via ambulance. It's believed that no one had serious injuries. Police are investigating both incidents. There's been praise from police and compliance officers following the opening weekend for duck shooting in the south. Southland Fish and Game staff and Southern Police carried out a joint operation to check compliance of hunters in the south. Around 80 ponds were checked and 9 guns were seized for either possession of lead shot or hunting without a licence. Police breath tested some hunters operating firearms, but report opening weekend was uneventful and compliance levels were on par with last year. Outside the Mai licensed premises were kept busy, but no incidents were reported, while road policing staff also say behaviour was good. In many parts of the region, hunters were egging on wind and rain to bring the high-flying ducks down into shootable range. One hunting party in Belfast reported great success, bagging over 60 ducks, while hunters in Waimahaka spotted few feathered flyers, and conditions were similar on the outskirts of Invercargill.
We got out here about 6:30 or 7, and there's a few flew off, so we got 1 or 2 out of that, but nothing much else has come back in today.
After 22 years of shooting the same pond, some long-held traditions have evolved.
There's a fair bit of socialising in the old duck shooting, as you can see over my shoulder, so yeah, it all happens out here after about 10 o'clock. Ducks sort of start to not come round too much more, and things seem to flow a bit.
Southland Fish and Game staff say more families were seen hunting together, with 3 generations in some cases, and say hunters have plenty of opportunity beyond opening weekend to make the most of their licences. Margot Sutherland, South Today News. The ocean-going Waka Honui received a warm welcome as it sailed into Bluff Harbour this afternoon after setting out from Dunedin on the latest leg of its tour down the east coast of New Zealand. The Honui has been sailing the Hauraki Gulf for 2 years. Prior to that, it undertook an epic journey across the Pacific.
This vessel is called Honui. It's a double-hulled sailing canoe based on, it's been designed and based on old Polynesian sailing vessels, 300-400 years ago, and it's sailed all over the Pacific. It's sailed from New Zealand through all the Pacific Islands, right across to San Francisco, down to South America, come back across the Pacific, up to the Solomon Islands, back home here, and it's been in Auckland for about almost 2 years now, just sailing around the Hauraki Gulf, and we thought probably it's good to sail across the Pacific. It's good to sail all around our own land too. So, yeah, we've got a few crew from Bluff and Christchurch that have sailed with us on the big voyage. So we thought it'd probably quite a good idea to come down and so their families can see the waka that they sail.
And it's obviously it's made out of fiberglass, but how in keeping is it with that traditional waka design, and how does she sail?
The design is pretty much exactly like old sailing canoes that they used to use, because back in the 1750s, 1760s, when the French and the Europeans French and British especially, were travelling around in the Pacific, they actually encountered canoes like this, so they made quite detailed technical drawings of them. So we've used those drawings to recreate what those canoes would have been like. And so Sir Tom Davis, the late Sir Tom Davis from the Cook Islands, he built one canoe called Te Auotonga from those old designs, and then we've just utilised his expertise to build and come up with these canoes, which are pretty much exact duplicates of the canoe that he built. So they're made of modern materials, but the design, the shape, and the performance is from the time of our ancestors. So the canoe performs pretty well.
So the marae here is hosting them. What's planned for them in the next few days?
They're here in Bluff for a couple of days, and I think they'll be taking, letting people have a look on the waka and maybe take some wee excursions. And the plan is to, weather permitting, they may go across to Rakiura, and after that they'll be heading back north via Puketeraki.
An amazing journey, isn't it? And think of, it's quite a sizable vessel, but still, any sized vessel can have trouble around these waters.
Yes, but aptly manned and skippered by skilled people who voyaged the Pacific, who've done the journeys and sailed all the way to Hawaii from Aotearoa. So, they're well supervised, they're well trained, and highly disciplined sailors.
Do you think you'll get out yourself in the next couple of days?
Oh, I've already been out. I was fortunate enough to go out on the vessel when it berthed in Hawaii, when they finished the first part of their expedition. So I went on it then. So
a bit warmer.
Yes, much.
Work is underway on the next section of the walkway and cycle trail connecting Invercargill and Bluff.
The 6.5 kilometre section will connect the existing trail near the Invercargill City Council sewage treatment plant at Kikino Place at Aotearoa. The additional section of track will generally follow the existing estuary tide banks and will include the construction of 2 bridges over Duck Creek and Mokatua Stream. The bulk of the $450,000 funding for the project is coming from the Te Aroa Trails Trust, with additional funding provided by the Community Trust of Southland, the ILT Foundation, along with the Invercargill City Council and Environment Southland. Environment Southland Transport Policy Analyst and Project Manager Russell Hawke says work is advancing well and he expects the current stretch to be finished by November. Discussions on how to link the Kikino Place end of the trail to Bluff are being undertaken between the City Council, Environment Southland and the New Zealand Transport Agency.
Stay with us after the break. Gore follows Invercargill's lead with a dog park of its own and Clean Paws score at the Southern DHB. Welcome back. All 4,500 staff across the Southern DHB will be given a helping hand to keep patients even safer, with activities underway as part of a World Health Organisation global hand hygiene campaign. From today, DHB prevention and control staff are on hand informing staff and patients about the importance of hand hygiene, which is vital to supporting good health, reducing the spread of infection and ultimately saving lives. The campaign also informs staff about the increasing threat of resistance to antimicrobial agents, which are increasing at an alarming rate worldwide. The campaign's the latest in a series of initiatives the DHB is delivering to improve hand hygiene performance. It's using hand hygiene champions to spread the word.
I ended up being a hand hygiene champion, being a senior surgeon here, being in the place a long time, recognisable, and took it as a responsibility. I find it so important because it is so basic. It's one of the tenets of medicine that goes back 100 years or more, and it's one of the major aha moments of in the history of medicine, that if you have clean hands or if you have clean items, that you actually prevent infection.
And the awareness is paying off. The Southern DHB has surpassed the national target of 70% hygiene compliance, with the DHB reaching 71.6% compliance at the end of March. A proposed dog park development in Gore has been included in the Gore District Council's draft annual plan. Recommended by the Council's Dog Control Working Party, the park would be established in the eastern end of Hamilton Park, a prime location for dog owners to exercise their pets, according to the Council. The Gore District Council set aside over $23,000 for the dog park plans and intends to fund the cost by loan. And we set aspiring journalist Tala Malo loose on the streets of Gore to see just how popular the idea of a dog park is for the town.
Do you think a dog park would be a good idea for Gore?
Well, it probably could be, yes.
Doesn't really bother me. Probably a good idea.
Oh, I think a dog park could be quite a good idea. I think they've got one in Invercargill, which is where I've been living for the last wee while. So, yeah, I don't have a dog myself, but I think it probably could be a very good idea.
Oh, it's probably quite a good idea.
Yeah.
Keeps the dogs all in one area instead of just roaming around. Might get the people out there too, enjoy the fresh air.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Do you have a dog and would you take it there?
No, I have a Chihuahua, but I wouldn't take him there because you can't walk a Chihuahua, really.
Yep, definitely.
Do you have a dog and would you take it there?
Yes, we have 2 dogs and yes, I would.
Just another waste of money.
Do you think it's a waste of $23,000?
It's probably better than what else I do with $23,000. Normally they just create another job for someone else and it's another waste of money. Just another reason for our rates to go up, which we don't really need. What's wrong with what we've got now? People walk their dogs on, they pick the offsides up.
Are you a dog owner?
I've got 2 dogs.
Would you take them there?
No.
Dogs need places to play too.
Do you have a dog and would you take it there?
Yeah, I probably would. She'd love it. She's very sociable.
Do you have a dog and would you take it there?
I do have a dog. I have a boxer and I would take it there, yeah, certainly. We've got one in Invercargill. Marvellous thing, yeah, very good.
Do you think it's a good idea to have sections for big dogs and small dogs?
Oh, I think I think so. Yeah, because some of the big fellas can get a bit rough on the wee fella. And then my boxers like that.
And still in Gore, due to growing concern of parents and grandparents, this year's draft annual plan of the Gore District Council includes plans to fence one of Gore's most popular playgrounds. The Eagle Street playground's located on the corner of 2 busy roads. To prevent children from running out into the traffic, the council plans to fence off the area. Steel post fencing will ensure the safety of young children while still allowing a view of the playground from the road. Ratepayers in the district, however, will be affected if these plans go ahead. The $13,000 fence will be funded by a 0.1% rates rise. Weekend sporting action is along after the weather next. From the news team, good night.